Okay, in this video what I want to show is how I clean my brass for reloading for rifles and pistols. Some people don't bother cleaning stuff at all. Some people don't really care how clean it gets. I want it clean so my dies don't get dirty, and also so that when I'm done, the finished product really looks nice. I take pride in putting out a nice looking shell when I'm done. So from the rounds which I pick up off the ground, I wind up with a finished product which looks like this. It's not quite as clean or pretty as it was when it came out of the factory packaging, but it is certainly acceptable for me. So when I decided that I was going to start cleaning brass, I wanted to find the easiest way to do it, meaning I don't want to have to lay hands on it. I want to be able to start a machine, walk off and leave it, let it do its job. So the first thing that I do is I start off with this. This is a Frankfurt Arsenal brand tumbler that I got off of Amazon for about $35. I'm not really big on the brand name one way or another. It's made in China, but it's a good piece of equipment. I bought it for actually cleaning some pieces of my shot shell reloader I restored a couple of months ago. I actually used aluminum oxide abrasive blast media in there with the steel parts to help remove some of the rust that was on the steel parts. So I already had that bought and paid for before I started reloading pistol and rifle cartridges. I've let it run for over 24 hours at a time while cleaning those steel parts with the abrasive, and I was very happy with it. It didn't have any problems. What I do is I buy this. This came from Petco. It's just walnut bedding for lizards, iguanas, whatever, that kind of stuff. It's a little less expensive than buying, say, a brand name for reloading media. You can check prices to find out how much of a savings it is. This was easy for me to lay hands on at Petco, not too far from here, so I did it. It seemed like it was less expensive. I didn't make a scientific study out of it. You can. So what I do is after I've taken the brass off the ground, which is dirty and has some soot residue from the burnt powder, plus it's going to pick up some dust and dirt and whatever on the ground, I take it still primed right off the ground, and I throw it in here with the walnut media and let it run for half an hour or so until I'm happy with the appearance. Afterwards, I'm left with this, which is cleaner. It gets most of the exterior soot off, if not all of it off, enough so that I feel comfortable running it through my resizing die and don't feel like I'm going to have to worry about it clogging the die with dirt and debris. Again, this has not been deprimed yet. At this point, I will take the shell and I will deprime it. Okay, and while I'm talking about that, lubricate these things. When I saw the demonstration at Cabela's and I saw the guy lubricating every shell as he ran it through, I thought he was just trying to sell another product. You do want to lubricate these, trust me on that, or don't and find out the hard way. You can do a couple of different things. You can buy commercially made lubricants for this stuff. You can make, I looked it up online and made my own by mixing some 100% pure lanolin liquid at 1 part to 6 parts of heat. This is a fuel treatment. You can buy this at Walmart, AutoZone, O'Reilly, something like that. It's supposed to remove water from fuel, from gasoline, and primarily, I believe. Doesn't matter. It's supposed to be about 99% pure isopropyl alcohol. The purest you'll get over the counter at like a pharmacy or something like that will be 90%, which is rubbing alcohol. Anyway, this is not very expensive. This is what I used. Again, this would be 6 parts. So 1 part of the lanolin to 6 parts of the heat fuel system treatment. It does need to be the red jug. Somebody said that the yellow jug is something different. I don't know. I just did this because it's what the instructions online said, so that's what I did. It works very well at lubricating the cases. It works very well for resizing these. It does leave it with an oily texture, an oily feel to it, which of course you'd expect. There may be either too much lanolin. I maybe should have used more alcohol and less of the lanolin, like 1 to 8 or 1 to 10. Also, what you could do is use these shells that have been lubricated maybe every 3rd or 4th shell, experimenting until you find out how many shells you can go in between, because this should be leaving a slick residue in the die to lubricate the subsequent shells. And you might be able to do, I said, 2 or 3 or 4 in between. I don't know. I didn't try that yet. I haven't done a whole lot of reloading yet. This is the first reloader I've ever used for pistol and rifle, so I'm learning as I go. I also thought, because I try to be a clever guy, that it might be a neat idea to try this. It's got Teflon in it. It ought to leave a nice Teflon coating on there. This did not work very well. It was better than no lube. I had also been using some 3-in-1 oil with a tissue and wiping cases down, which is just tedious. So this was better than that, but I wouldn't recommend this. I would recommend lanolin or an alcohol or a commercial product for it. This I thought was kind of a neat idea that I did. I laid out a grid on my board and put a bunch of nails in there. These are 2-inch long finishing nails, and I put them in a grid pattern. And what I can do then is I can space these out like that, and then it makes it very easy for me to come along and spray the lubricant on them, and then very easy, to get the entire exterior of the shell coated. Mostly, of course, we're worried about the sides, not the base, but whatever it happens, it gets on the base, who cares? That worked out really well. It was some scrap wood that I had laying around and a bunch of finishing nails that I already had, so it didn't really cost anything but a few minutes of time to nail those in. So that actually is a neat trick for lubricating your cases and then having them handy to pick up. I see videos where people are trying to figure out neat ways to lay them all out side by side like this and then spray them and roll them and spray them. And I'm like, this seemed like this worked for me. I liked it. It was easy to go like that all the way around and get all the sides, and I don't have to sit there and roll them, and I didn't want to do it like that. So that's how I did it. Once I have them, of course, lubricated, then I actually deprime them. A quick word on the depriming process is that I bought a Lyman brand case prep tool, and I'll throw a still shot in here. There are actually 2 different pieces of this for cleaning your primer pockets. This is actually a primer pocket cleaner. Looks like a blade screwdriver. Okay, place it in there, spin it around, and you'll get any soot, residue, debris that's left in here after you've deprimed it. The other end, however, is a reamer. So the guy at Cabela's was like, yeah, you use this and you clean the pockets and whatever. You just have to be careful not to, ream the hole out too much or actually drive so far in there that you remove that little shelf of metal, which you may or may not be able to see. No, this is actually a reamer. This is the cleaner. So if you're just trying to clean it, you want to use the blade screwdriver looking end. The reamer is useful, like some of the brass that I buy, because I buy, whatever's cheap full metal jacket ammo, actually has the primer crimped in. So when you go to place a new primer in here, the new primer tends to be, if you were going to hit it with a striker here, tends to be a little flared around like this, like a dish. And if there's a shelf, a sharp shelf here where that had been crimped before, it doesn't want to seat in there. So that can be kind of a booger. All you have to do, take the reamer, place it in there, give it a turn or two, not a whole lot, you're not trying to drill the whole thing out, and then the primer seat very, very easily. I try to go easy on endorsing products because I don't work for anybody. I don't want to sound like that I do. I'm not trying to sell anything, but I have been happy with this so far. What is really neat about this is that it does screw apart, and the other accessories that can be used store right there in the handle. So it makes it easy for me to keep this in the drawer with all the pieces in one place instead of having to worry about small items running all over the place. So whatever. So once I have it, I've knocked the ground dirt and the soot off of it. I have lubed it, deprimed it. Then it's time to actually try to get the thing clean. In doing so, I use Ultrasonic Cleaners. I've had these for years for cleaning my scuba diving regulators. Have a small one, have a big one, bigger. Okay, I know they make a lot bigger than this. This is 2.6 quarts. I believe one of the manufacturers like Hornady makes a 7 quart or something like that. For the small runs of shells that I'm doing, maybe 50 to 100 at a time, I have no problems with this size. It's about $70-something at horrible freight. That's Harbor Freight for those of you who don't know. And so much of this stuff is horrible that I'm not trying to be funny when I say horrible freight, but this actually worked and works really well. It also has a heating element in it, so you can warm the water up if you don't have warm water there, or if you want to keep it warm. And I'll run it through this on an 8-minute cycle. 2 and 3, sometimes 4 8-minute cycles, just depending upon what I feel like. Again, what I'm looking for is easy. I don't want to have to lay hands on stuff. I just want to get the job done. I press the button, I walk away, I go do something else, and let it do the work. So I don't mind if it runs for 40-something minutes. If I go back every few minutes and turn it back on, who cares? As far as the chemicals, someone had said, I read online and see what people have been doing and then try it. Approximately 50% vinegar to 50% water. This has already been diluted to a 5% acidity. It's marked on the container here. They were using white vinegar. I already had this left over from another project, so I used this. It worked very well. I was happy with that. The Horrible Freight stuff, you can buy an ultrasonic cleaning solution. Feels like raw homemade soap chips to me, but I don't know. But in any case, this actually did improve the cleaning action over just the vinegar by itself. However, after doing some more reading online and getting a little cavalier with this stuff and thinking, what the heck, I'm just going to try something, I also, in addition to a 50% solution of vinegar, threw in a squirt of Dawn dishwashing detergent. Why not? I threw in a small scoop of OxyClean. What the heck? It was laying around. I was using it anyway. I also threw in, now I'm using the, oops, the scoop's not in there. Using the scoop that came with this, I threw in a scoop of Tide laundry detergent, liquid laundry detergent for high efficiency units. Like I said, I was just screwing around, thought I'd see what it would do. It actually did make a difference. It actually cleaned better than the vinegar alone, or the vinegar even with the supposedly right ultrasonic cleaning solution. So I was happy with that. My brass came out very, very clean, very nice. Primer pockets are clean. I know they have stainless steel media that people have used. I didn't want to use the stainless steel media for two reasons. The first one was that, one, I had to go buy it, and it was going to take days for the stuff to show up. Two, I already had the vibrating bowl tumbler. I did not have a rotary tumbler, and according to my understanding of the instructions, you have to have a hexagonal or octagonal tumbler for it to, agitate the media properly. It supposedly gets the primer pockets really clean and everything else, but whatever. When everything is said and done, I wind up with, this is what it looks like after the vinegar and the soap solution and whatever. Then when everything is done, it winds up looking like this, and it is not going to show up like a huge big difference on the video, I know, but it is cleaner than just the vinegar and water and soap solution. I'm sorry, because I meant to mention the last run. After I've done the vinegar mix, I then rinse it thoroughly, and then I put this in. Again, Frankfurt Arsenal. I'm not big on brand names. This is what Cabela's had. If they had Fubu brand, I'd have bought that too. I don't really care. It is concentrated, 40-to-1 mix ratio, so you don't have to use a whole lot of this. It does get them cleaner, and what is really neat is that almost 100% of the primer pockets, which again, this won't show up, I'll try to get a still, are shiny clean inside. There will still be occasionally one that I'll have to take the chase tool to get rid of the little bit of dirt that might be left in there. I probably could have run it longer. I only ran about 2 or 3 cycles on the ultrasonic cleaner with this. But what's really neat is that when you get it lit, and there's no way I'm going to be able to show this in a video worth a darn, so I'm not going to try, just you can trust me and try it. The inside will glow. If you can actually get where the light is shining down in there, the inside is really clean. Now, is it really necessary? I don't know, and I really don't care. It makes me happy that it looks that good. That's the product that I want to produce. So that's what I do. One thing I failed to mention a minute ago was that when I am through tumbling with the walnut shell media, I use this old, some kind of a strainer that my wife had in the kitchen. It had a small tear in the bottom of it, so I bought her a new one, and I got to inherit this one. Makes it very easy to shake the shells over a 3-gallon plastic bucket, or 5 if you have that, to shake out the walnut shell media to get most of it out. And then as I pull the shells out, I just turn them neck down just to make sure the last of it comes out. In any case, what I wound up with is I wound up with really clean brass that works very well in the reloader. I have no problems with it, gumming up my dies, and I only have to spend a little bit of time on it. The last thing that I have, and I'll throw a still in on it, is that I did buy a food dehydrator after I threw with all the ultrasonic cleaning and stuff to get the shells dry, instead of waiting days and hoping that they've dried up depending upon humidity conditions and so forth, and instead of using something like this is actually corncob media with some kind of a rouge polishing substance on it, whatever. I haven't even opened the package. I bought it and decided I wasn't going to use it. But they claim that it's ideal for drying and polishing cases after sonic cleaning. Well, the cases are clean enough for me. I've polished. I'm not going to get all hung up on them because they're clean. That's what I want. I don't need to see myself like it's in a mirror or something, okay? Drying, I'm not going to sit here and tumble with something like this. One, hope that it gets dry enough, and two, hope that I don't want this crap clogged up inside the shells. So for me, the food dehydrator was $40 plus tax at Walmart. I think it's a Presto brand. It worked very well. I left the shells in there for an hour, and after I was done, they were completely dry. Whenever I dumped them in on the tray down below, there was puddled up water where these shells had still captured some water, so I could see that there was standing water in several places in the bottom of it. I just ran it until all that water was gone, because I'm figuring that if that big puddle of water evaporated, any small droplets that are in here have evaporated as well. I tested several of them, no water left in them. It's an hour, but again, plug it in, walk off and leave it, and that's what I wanted. I wanted basically fire and forget. Turn it on, walk away, come back later, it's done. In the meantime, I'm doing something else. So that's how I clean my brass. Hopefully there's some useful information there for you. None of it is terribly original on my part. I'm just hoping to put it together into a coherent, step-by-step. This is where we start, this is where we finish. These are some tips along the way. Hopefully it'll help you. Thank you.